Ladies and gentlemen, hey, hi, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. The close range meta in Warzone right now, post season 3 update, is pretty competitive when it comes down to it. We got a ton of different options because of some of the weapon changes that happened in the season 3 patch. So today we're going over the entire close range meta, what options are going to be the best as it stands right now. As we go through it all, if you enjoy the video at any point, let me know by dropping a like on it. And if you're new here or if you have not already subscribed, every day I got you covered with all things going on in COD. So feel free to hit that sub button and turn on those post notifications. And also right now, my Gamer Advantage discount code WhosImmortal is actually going to get you 20% off your entire order. Usually it only gets you 10% off. So now is quite literally the best time to pick up a new pair of glasses if you're looking for some. They offer prescription or regular lenses, tons of different frame options. I love these things, wearing them all day, every day. If you're interested, link will be down in the description below. So first up, when it comes to the close range meta, there are few options in this video today that are going to be able to outgun the AS-44. That said, there's also a few options that are more difficult to use than the AS-44. This build that we're gonna have here has insane recoil, so it's not easy to use, especially on console, but it also has the most high risk, high reward TTK in the game. This thing melts, just plain and simple. First up here, we are going for the recoil booster tethered with the falchion barrel, the ultimate fire rate set up on a gun that already has an insane fire rate. I use the 2.5 times optic here because it does help out with the control, and that zoom is not overbearing in close range, right? For the stock, we want good mobility for close range, so I go for remove stock there. For the underbarrel here, I actually go for carver because a lot of this recoil is vertical, and that helps out a ton with that. For the magazine, I like the Gorenko 50. This is like perfect for close range. Better fire rate, it helps out with the control again and gives you better movement speed. For the ammo here, I feel like Lengthen is a good choice, Frangible is a good choice, and some Sonic is a good choice. You cannot go wrong with any of those, so just pick your poison there. For the rear grip, we definitely want Polymer for that better control. Perk 1, Gung Ho, get rid of all that sprint to fire. Then perk 2, going for fully loaded or even on hand for that better ADS. Just comes down to your preference there. But like I said, very few guns in all of Warzone have a TTK as good as this one. Moving on, there's a ton of Vanguard subs in this video. Spoiler alert, they just dominate the close range meta. The Sten, for instance, here is great, especially in solos and duos. This build just thrives in, one-on-one gunfights, essentially. Recoil booster first and foremost, rapid barrel for the better fire rate, primarily getting a really solid TTK there. Going for slate reflector, just in your nice basic red dot, right? Parastock, better sprint to fire, better movement speed. You love to see it. Going for hand stop to help out with some control there. The 32 fast mag for the 45 ACP has a ridiculous TTK, so we're running that, but only 32 rounds. You got to be mindful if you're playing trios or quads. This is really a solos and duos kind of gun, in my opinion. Going for lengthened here. Also going to go for polymer or fabric. Both of those are great choices. Better ADS with fabric or better control with polymer. Perk 1, Gung Ho or acrobatic are both great choices. Then perk 2, I'm going for quick to maximize that sprint speed, that movement speed. Super fun setup and honestly kind of underrated versus some of these other Vanguard subs. Of course, we gotta talk the MP40. This build though is pretty straightforward. It's one that we've talked about many times on the channel. Recoil booster, short barrel, going for the basic red dot here, the slate reflector. Folding stock here. I see a lot of players ask why we don't use remove stock. Folding helps out with movement and sprint to fire, whereas remove stock is just hip fire and movement. Sprint to fire is huge for close range, so of course we're running that. I go for the skeletal underbarrel here for that better ADS. Gorenko 45 as always. Lengthen for some of those mid-range fights. Polymer or fabric. I really like the fabric here. Like, this is just a max mobility, max speed build, and it works so well. Going for steady here. All these perks kind of suck. And then perk 2, going for quick once more. Like I said, we've talked about this build a lot, but it is still easily a top option. Briefly taking a break from some of the Vanguard subs, the Lapa is still beasting and feasting in close range. They really haven't adjusted this gun in quite some time, so the setup is going to be the same as always. Agency suppressor, rifled barrel, Tiger Team spotlight for better mobility, the Microflex LED because it has the worst iron sights in the game, and then also the 40 or the 50 round mag. It hasn't changed, but neither has the TTK, which is one of the top options in the game. It already has great mobility because it's a Cold War sub. Like, it's different enough from some Vanguard subs, but it's able to compete with all of them. Now, the Vanguard PPSH is probably one of my favorite Vanguard subs in the game, just because you could go for a really good ADS build or a really good hipfire build. To me, I feel like the hipfire build is a lot more worth it in cases, just because if you want an ADS SMG, use the Type 100, use the MP40, use the Owen Gun. This though, you can't build a hipfire gun like this in many other cases. So recoil booster first and foremost, 230mm barrel for all the hipfire pros. Going for the 2.5 times optic, again, because it's not too bad if I had to zoom in ADS, but also we get that better control even if we're hip firing. Going for a move stock, hip fire benefits once again. The steady underbarrel is just hip fire accuracy, so you love to see that. Nambu is the perfect mag for hip fire. Gorenko is what you'd use on an ADS build. For the ammo here, I actually love frangible, because when you're hip firing, it slows enemies down. It just makes them easier to track and trace, so you get an easier kill essentially. Rear grip, going for pine tar here, better control and better hip fire accuracy. Perk 1 tight grip, and then perk 2 fully loaded. Just in case we miss some shots, we get that extra ammo back with fully loaded. So super fun setup here, and honestly perfect for close range. Of course, no one is surprised to see the Owen Gun on this list. I mean, it's the best SMG in the game for a reason, right? Has been for quite some time. As we talked about earlier on this week, though, there is a new ideal build, in my opinion. Recoil booster, the shrouded barrel, which gives you the best TTK over range, the Model 47 optic, or any optic that you are comfortable with on this gun. Going for a move stock, gonna go for acrobatic and quick as always. Rear grip, either polymer or fabric, just comes down to preference, what you value more, ADS or control. The Gorenko 72 round drum still, length in for some better mid-range velocity, and then finally hand stop as well. Like we talked about earlier on this week, this setup is incredible, both up close and through about 40 meters for some sniper support as well. Type 100 is sort of similar to the AS44 in the sense that it is a really, really good TTK, but also kind of awkward to use in some cases, because when you're going for the max TTK here for close range and not so much like mid-range sniper support-esque, it does get a little bit tougher to use in terms of control. But first up here, recoil booster, either the 374mm barrel for sniper support or the rapid barrel for close range, which is what obviously we're focused on here. Gonna go for the slate reflector, your basic red dot. For the stock, I like skeletal a ton because obviously it's gonna give you better ADS speeds and better movement speeds, but also the T100 barrel gives you a better ADS and better horizontal control, which is one of the big drawbacks of the Type 100. So that actually, I feel like, is the better option versus skeletal for that better sprint to fire, rather, not ADS, and then better movement speed. This to me has better pros at the end of the day. Underbarrel here, going for hand stop, gonna go for the Kurz 48 just because the magazine size. Lengthened here yet again. Rear grip, I'm actually gonna go for fabric just to get some ADS back because we don't have that on some other options. However, if you're not a super big fan of the recoil still, go for something like the hatched grip, which also gives you better horizontal control, and that can work out really well. You're just not gonna have the most optimal ADS speed, which is why I'm going for fabric in this case. Perk 1, acrobatic or gung ho. Obviously, gung ho gets rid of that sprint to fire, so because we're not super focused on mobility with some of these attachments, that can be huge. Then perk 2, quick as always. Another brief intermission in the Vanguard SMG spam. The OTS is still flying and frying. Insane mobility, really, really good TTK. Like, you cannot go wrong with this thing. Going for Grew Suppressor, Task Force Barrel. The Tiger Team Spotlight paired with the Bruiser Grip gives you the best movement speed possible. Like, it is so insane how fast this thing is. Then we also go for the 40 round fast mag to close things out there. Pretty basic setup, but it's still so, so good. I would also say the MW MP5 still does have a place in the close range meta. Like, it's not as good as it once was, but it still can easily hold its own. We of course are going for the monolithic integral suppressor, the Merc 4 grip, the 45 round mags. I like the 5mm laser on here, and then finally the collapsible stock. You get good hip fire, good mobility, like all around. You cannot go wrong with the MW MP5. It feels so good. Also, while we are on the topic of MW subs, the AUG, as we've talked about a couple times recently, is also a top choice right now. It's a little bit weird because it is technically an AR SMG hybrid. We are using an AR conversion here with either the 30 or the 60 round NATO mags, but that said, it's still an SMG under the category, so we're going to throw it in on this video, and it's good for close range, which is what's most important. We don't run a barrel here. We are going for monolithic suppressor alongside the tac laser for a better ADS. I also like to run the Stippy Grippy on here for the better ADS and sprint to fire, then the comb stock for a better ADS as well. Very aggressive, a little bit heavier than some of these other options, maybe outside of the AS44, but the TTK speaks for itself. And of course, we cannot leave out the Welgun, my personal favorite SMG in the game at the moment. Same setup here though that we've been using, recoil booster. We also got the shrouded barrel on there, slate reflector for the nice clean red dot, remove stock for the better mobility, better sprint to fire. You love to see that. Hand stop on here for the better control, Gorenko 40, alongside lengthen for some of those mid-range fights. Fabric or polymer, I like the ADS here, going for acrobatic, and then finally quick, the deadly duo in terms of perks on the Vanguard subs. And this thing, let's be real, has been a great SMG for a while and continues to be a great SMG now. Also, you could use the Jack 12 but I don't like promoting shotguns, so this one's not going to get much attention in this video. So that said, that is the general close range meta as it stands right now. Ton of great options, but that's going to wrap things up for today. If you enjoyed the video, let me know by dropping a like on it. And if you're new here or if you have not already subscribed, every day I got you covered with all things going on in COD. So feel free to subscribe with those notifications turned on. But once again, thank you so much for tuning in. And until next time, take it easy. Have an awesome rest of your day. And I'll catch you guys later. Peace out.